Woo.
But yeah, it's sometimes I'm just like, what do you think you're here for? Like,
hello, everyone.
hello.
Hello.
Happy Tuesday. Who's ready for some therapy? I could
Yay,
use.
we have some
Oh,
people.
yes. Oh, yes.
Like, literally, I went in and I put my name under a bunch of ones where people have, like, you know, crossed out of, but I forgot which ones I did. So when you sent it, I was like, oh, yay, I need to see people today. So this is
Yay, socializing.
exactly. And like,
I literally just told my son not to come in here. Like, give me 1 hour of peace.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this
I wish
is,
I had done that.
everyone's contact should be marked not for children. So we are all here.
I don't know. My kids have heard everything, so I don't think anything shocks them.
How old are your kids?
Mine are 8 and 10.
Okay.
Well,
They've been to school. They know all the tricks.
Right.
Mine are 9, 6, and 3, but my 9 and 6-year-old don't really listen to anything anyway. So they
The F-bomb's my favorite word, so I say it pretty much, I don't know, 50 or 60 times a day. So, yeah. Over here.
You're the cool stepmom, though, Jackie.
I am the cool stepmom.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, to a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
You have to be cool with a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And there's like this fine line of coolness.
She actually will hang out with me. She like literally the other day, she was like, can we go see she called it Reinfeld. And I looked at her, I'm like,
Renfield.
Renfeld. And I was like, what the fuck are you trying to say? She's like, Reinfeld, the Drac. I mean, Renfield? That movie? Yeah, we can go see that movie. That's fine. And her grandma was like, isn't that rated R? I'm like, I don't care.
I'm dying to see that.
It's freaking Dracula. I'm going to go see that. Thanks.
Yes. It looks so good, too.
It does. I'm also a Nick Cage fan, so.
Yes.
The only thing, like, I wanted to have awards, Rachel, for the host that made it all the way to the end, and now, like, you just no, you know, I love you. I love you so much. I'm only sad because I want to talk about it with you, not because life.
I know, no, I get
where I'm like, damn it, there's things to talk about.
Well, and like I had reread Silver Flames, but I was out of town and I didn't have reliable internet, and so I couldn't join that live show. And then I fizzled on the Crescent City stuff. Oops. But everybody let us know in the comments what you're currently reading. Why don't we go around and talk about what we're gonna be reading or getting done during this sprint. So Jackie, why don't you go first?
I'm starting a new book. I was gonna be reading Deadly Gossip, but my Kindle died on me, so it has to charge. So change of plans. I'm reading House of Sky and Breath.
Yes.
All right.
I'm finishing it up. I haven't finished Silver Flames yet, but they'll probably be carried over next month. But yeah. I'm
glad you're on that because we want to talk about this. So
yes. Jen, what about you?
Yeah, so I switched to my audiobook, although I'm going to pause to gush about it. I'm reading One Look by Lena Hendricks, and as I said in my story, it is giving me Heartless vibes, okay? Not a 6-star Heartless vibes, but like a 5-star Heartless vibes. That's where we're at, okay? So if you love Heartless, I'm going to be pointing at this one all the time. It's so good, except he's a football coach instead of a cowboy, but it has all the other vibes included with a crazy family and all the stuff. So I'm loving that. But there's not an audiobook for that. So I'm switching back to The Phantom. I'm like halfway in. Gina Showalter is bonkers. I don't know how I fell into this series. This is book 3 in this series. These are the only books by Gina Showalter I've read. I know this is in the middle of one of her epic series, but like it started a spinoff series. And I was like, I'm going to be that rebel who starts with a spinoff series and drives everyone nuts that I started with a spinoff series. So these are about like war gods and harpies and things. Like it's very interesting to me, but too confusing to explain when we're at the 3rd book already. So I have the audiobook queued up for that. And cross stitch of the week is this Northern Lights one that I'm working on, which is in a tinier cloth than I've worked with before. And like my eyes feel old because I'm like, how can I see the hole to poke it in with this one? Anyway, That's what
You need those glasses with the little magnetized or the magnifying glasses.
Oh yeah.
My husband wears those when he paints his D&D models. I got him a set for Christmas.
Right? I almost need it.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's such a nerd. Walk in, he's wearing these like goggles. He looks up, his eyes are all big. I'm like, yep, that's the man I married.
Yep.
Retract this idea.
April, what about you?
Last
I'm reading. Sorry.
You
I'm talking right over April. I'm just gonna pretend that someone said, April, I'm gonna stop talking.
A comes before B, okay?
This is true.
Shots
No.
fired. This is therapy. Why are we being? I'm just kidding. Everybody gets along.
We're fighting in therapy.
No, last night I started How to Marry a Marble Marquess by CM. Is it Nascosta or Nascosta?
I think it's
Nascosta.
Nascosta, right?
Yeah. Well, there's a Scott in there. So
yeah.
Oh, I hope that's good. It's been on my. I bought it the day it came out, and I haven't had time.
Yeah, I just started it last night. I'm like 15% in, so.
Nice.
He's like an actual rake. He's like a marble guy, but he's a rake. He's sleeping around. Like I
heard that.
Those
we
marbles.
have a real rake here.
I heard he was spicy.
All right, B.
I wanted to make sure it was my turn.
I could see the look on your face.
Are you waiting for permission now?
No. Okay. Yes, I am reading Never Forget You, which is it's actually got it from it's an arc, because what else am I physically reading? I did way too many arcs. But it's from Harper 360, which I didn't realize until later is they do British, UK, Australia, New Zealand, India. And I was reading it going like, why are all these words misspelled? And what's all this? I mean, there's so much like he blagged tickets. I'm like, he blagged tickets? What's that? And anyway, so I have a British friend, thankfully, who's helping me through this book because I am missing a lot of what is being said otherwise. But all that to say, it's really good. It's like it was giving me Notting Hill vibes in the beginning. This couple meets in this beautiful English garden. Then they wind up spending the entire day together. It's love at first sight, but it's like something you could actually buy into. And then they're supposed to meet up, but something happens. And then she shows up in his small town of Scotland 5 years later with amnesia. Doesn't even know who she is, but she's wearing the necklace that he bought her 5 years before. So it's really good. It's really good. So I need help getting through it because I don't know half of what they're saying. Like Yorkshire pudding. What is that?
Those are delicious, and I can make one.
Awesome.
I tried making them and it actually worked. I was so ecstatic.
That's
I'm
amazing.
a big fan of the Great British Baking Show, so yes.
Oh, there you go. Great British Baking Show. There you go.
I didn't know that was a real thing. I thought it was like a euphemism for poop.
What?
Dead.
I didn't know that was an actual dish. I always thought it was like, oh, they're talking about poop.
No.
Oh my god, I love it.
I would love to know.
And spotted dick is an actual food in England as well, too.
I know. I was like, oh, okay.
You know, that's actually it's real one too. I haven't made that.
Dead.
Can't bring myself for that one just yet.
I'm currently I need to start a new book because I just finished Eleanor and Gray by Brittany Cherry a couple hours ago. And if my eyes are still puffy, sorry, not sorry, but we know Brittany Cherry is gonna make you cry. So yeah, like that book. It was amazing. So I'm gonna start Unveiled by Courtney Milan. That's our somebody just brought it up in the comments. That's our group pick for Blushing Blue Stocking Society.
I'm so nice reading that. I love Courtney Milan.
Yeah, I've only read like 2 of her books, and I'm like, we need to stop this. Like, why? I find a new favorite author, and then I only read like 1 or 2 of their books, and I'm like, but they have the backlist. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So
same. I only read The Duke Who Didn't, and like that was great. I don't know why I didn't read more.
I love that book. That book
I will say that is definitely her like lightest book. It's almost a rom-com. She gets deep with some. I equally love everything because I read this series Rachel's reading. I read the whole trilogy of that, and then I read The Duke Who Didn't, and then I read her very first book. My book club did her very first book. Man, does she take on some issues and tropes that I hate, like tropes that I actively dislike, and she does them so well. Like,
yeah,
I was going to comment on her because we were talking about, Rachel and I were talking about Tessa Dare briefly today, and Courtney Milan's someone else where I'm like, where are your books at, bae? Where are your books at?
No.
Where's the next book after The Duke Who Didn't? That's still listed as #1 in the series. Where are my books, bae?
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Is another author that I could have sworn I've seen a cover for like the next book in that series, but it just never came out.
Anything. Yeah, I mean, Maya Banks's cover was been out, and it's been 8 years since.
Oh yeah,
that series, and The Bride Bet, the cover is made
Yes.
for, you know. So
I saw somewhere it said 2024 for The Bride Bet, but who knows?
no. I mean, it was originally yeah, it was originally 2021, like they just keep moving because they own it until certain time, and like the same with Maya Banks, like it kept, but like it's not coming, you know, like we don't know. So I saw this.
It's so good. It's so good.
So good.
Jen, I still haven't read that one.
Girl, I have no excuses for you. No excuses.
Oh no, there are no excuses. The audiobook is readily available.
Right. Yep. I mean,
It's so good.
Yeah, I just want to do a vlog of books that Jen has been pushing on me for years at this point. And
You should. You
books
should.
that I know are specifically like for you, and then I'll mention them. She's like, I haven't read that. And I was like, but it's you. I literally like, I feel like I got that rec from you, and you haven't read it. So I'm like, where'd I get that from?
like when you were talking about Bright Like Wildfire by Juliet Cross, and I did. I immediately read it, and I was like, Jen,
I
right. There you go.
Oh, my baby.
Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, I love that cover.
It's so perfect. It's the perfect small town
So good.
romance. It's
So good. I have it there too because I'm putting it in a video I'm doing tomorrow. So I was like, oh yeah, a reason to bring this book out.
Yeah.
Tessa
It's so funny because you'll say small town contemporary, and I'm like, meh. But then
Right.
you say Juliet Cross, and I was like, oh, okay.
Here's the thing too, like small town contemporary is the most generic term of a subgenre, like outside of like just saying mafia. You know what I mean? Like there's so many places you can take a small town contemporary, and that's why like probably before last year I was kind of like, oh, I guess I don't really like those. And then I looked at how many small town contemporaries I actually love, and I love so many that are like disguised under small town romance, and they have just as good of plots of everything. But it's just those little biases we get in our head that we're like, small town contemporary, where's the edge? Where's the grit? What am I gonna like?
Right.
Well, and then you find one with it and you're like, this is perfect.
Well,
Yeah,
the Stay as Spelt series is small town contemporary, but with creatures. You know what I mean? Like that's the only difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has like a small town feel, even though it's Louisiana or something like that, but it has that small town feel to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much more to it. Yeah.
But you put creatures in there and it's more palatable for me. But yeah, if there's real people, I'm like, no.
I love small town because I'm from a small town. So like it's relatable to me. Like I read small town when I want to relate to the books versus when I don't. Like, you know, those moods where like I want to read something that I can actually relate to. That's when I'll go to those small town books because I am from a town. The town I live in right now, literally, I think is only like 1,300 people.
Yeah.
And I'm from a
I was gonna concur because for me it's that like when I don't want to have to like work for the story, you know what I mean? Like because I love like a dark romance or a fantasy or a paranormal, like there's usually work that goes into setting it up because you got to like get into it. And with a contemporary, really of any kind, you're like, you don't really have to set this up for me. Like you just can start.
Yeah.
And I feel like they can immediately begin building the characters. Now, if it's a contemporary and like there's no character work to it, I mean, I feel that way about a lot of books, but you can bedazzle fantasy or paranormal if there's like fun things in it, but the authors really have to build their characters well for a contemporary small town to just work.
See, and I'm from a small town too, and I'm like, nope, too close.
Yeah.
I need more escape than that.
I get it.
All right. Are we ready for a sprint?
Yes.
Let's do it.
So I'm thinking of just doing the 45-minute sprint, and
Yep.
then we can chat about it and go on with our lives, you know?
Sounds good.
All right. We will see you all in 45 minutes.
That is gorgeous. Sorry.
It is really
This
cool.
picture.
Ooh, that is.
Yes. Got the Barnes and Noble edition.
Make sure you mute it, Jackie.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little mute down by you. It's on the bottom. There's a mute camera.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah, you have to exit full screen. There you go.
All right. How did everybody's sprint go? Let us know in the comments. I just read the first 13% of Unveiled by Courtney Milan, and I'm already obsessed.
Ooh.
I'm excited. I'm glad that we picked this one. It's really good so far.
So fun.
Yep. Mine's going good. It's getting intense. Oh, these books are so weird. I don't know how else. They're so weird, but they're very compelling. So, yeah, I love it.
I forgot. What are you reading again?
I'm reading Gina Showalter.
The Phantom.
Yep.
Mine said a phrase that I absolutely hate. And I was just like, oh, no. They're like she's describing herself as a flower and he's a rake, so he's describing himself as a butterfly that goes from flower to flower. And he says, wouldn't a butterfly something taste your sweet nectar? I hate that phrase. I mean, I get it in this conversation, like it's more used as a metaphor, but then they say it multiple times, and I'm just like, no.
I feel like she's doing that on purpose. The author's doing that on purpose, right?
Yes.
Like that feels like very like.
And while
Bees do that.
While he's saying these things, these innuendos, like there's a line in it. It must be a typo, but it just made me laugh. She was like, her nipple tightened, and I'm like, nipple? Just one? Like, what was the other one doing? Like, was it not paying attention? Like, what was the other one doing?
It's lazy, okay? Some girls have that problem.
I mean, you can make one at a time do that.
Exactly.
Not on their own.
He's getting to it. The bees got a pollen. Is he saying butterfly? Because I thought bees were the pollinators. I think butterflies are pollinators.
He's talking about himself as a butterfly.
Okay. So I mean,
butterflies don't pollinate, but
cool.
I mean, butterflies are the one that like they have a long tongue that out.
It's like a lessons in seduction type thing. So he's giving her lessons in innuendo, and yeah.
Says bugs are sexy. Anytime I talk about entomology, I'm just like, yes, let's get it on. Entomology. Go. Yes. Anthrax, thorax.
There you go.
Whatever all the axes are of animals.
Come on, thorax.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh man.
Oh man.
How about your reading, B? How'd it go?
Just wanted to make sure it was my turn. No, I'm just kidding. I'm halfway through now, the book. It's really good, but you're not going to believe. They're traveling, and there was a snag in the traveling, and there's only one bed.
Oh my God.
Oh,
what happens?
I know. I was shocked.
Wait, what book is this?
Do what?
What book is this?
This is called Never Forget You. It's coming out at the end of April. I feel like I'm a commercial all of a sudden. Coming to a store near you, end of April. Yeah, no. It's cute. She's got amnesia, and he's gonna tell her. There's like jumping back in time to this relationship she was in. I have a feeling it's gonna get pretty heavy because this guy he's like a psycho, and over time, like he's gaslighting her, and like the more that you go through the book, it's like, oh, this guy's a bad guy, and she's trying to find him. What'd you say?
Sorry, you've never said the author yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fiona Lucas is the author.
Beautiful. I was just like, that title, I could think of some other books called that title too, so I was like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Excited.
Oh, mine is How to Marry a Marble Marquess by C.M. Nascoste. It's that kind of like an anthology, really, of the Monster Ball. There's a bunch of authors that are writing it.
Yeah. Here for it.
Our live show is Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time on my channel.
Yeah.
And Jackie, you're reading Hosab, right?
Yep. Yep. I got through the prologue. So
That's quite
I'm
a
lost. I don't know
prologue.
who the fuck that person is right now. I don't remember this.
Girl,
I don't know who this person is.
The whole rest of the book is about who that person is. So.
Okay, cool.
No, you're totally fine.
I was sitting here reading it, I'm like,
because the first time that I read it, right, I was listening to the audiobook the day this came out originally, and I was like, what the fuck? I want to get back to Hunt and Bryce. Why are you doing this? Like, whatever.
Yep.
And then upon this reread, I was like, wow, I really didn't pay attention to this prologue. Because the whole rest of the book is about who that person is.
Okay.
So
because I'm sitting here, I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, so I remember the hind. I remember hearing that word. And I'm trying to sit here, I'm like, who the fuck is what's going on right now? And then they're at like a ballet or something. Like I just started the first chapter. They're like a ballet, I think.
Yep.
It sounds like, or an art gallery, and her mom's bitching about her job. And I'm just like, lady, she just saved the city. Leave her the fuck alone. Okay? Leave her alone.
Ember is a sassy lady. I love it.
Yeah.
That's me a
I
lot.
have got to read that. I have got to read it. I still haven't read it either.
I'm really looking forward to this one because I was a fan. I mean, I gave the first one, I think, 4 stars because, you know, it's Sarah J. Maas. She walks in as a 3. So, but yeah, she walks in as a 3. But like my favorite character for that book was only in like 10, maybe 5%, and that was Therion. And apparently he comes in more in this one. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, Rune and Therion. Rune, that's his name, right? Rune?
Well, yeah, there's Rune, Therion, Ethan.
Yeah.
Of course, all spelt weird. Like, I've only listened to this book and I picked it up and I was like, who's Ethan? And I was like, oh. Got it.
Yeah. But like Rune and Therion was my favorite. Out of the entire book, he was my favorite. And he was only like 5-10% of the
Right. Yeah, he wasn't doing much in that
Yeah, so I'm just like, I want the mer guy. I want him. Yeah. Like I was waiting for her to be sunk to the bottom. Like, okay, so the merman's gonna pop up or something, but no.
All the dudes find out. Get more stuff in this one. So
yeah.
April, this comment's for you.
I saw that and I'm just like, no.
What?
Wow.
What is going on?
I think that's the stuff that authors think, and a lot of female authors, that's what floors me, is the female authors, the stuff they compare our genitalia and our bodies to. I'm just like, we don't taste like fucking strawberries, lady. There's only one book where I taste like a strawberry, and that's because there's a strawberry put in her that he was eating out. That's the only reason it fucking tastes like strawberries. I'm sorry. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
The directions this whole live show has gone in.
You never know. You don't have to make up weird flavors. You know what?
Don't.
It's okay if a sex scene uses the same words as every other sex scene. It's how you put them together, right? Like
that's right.
It's all leading to the same place. Okay, we don't have to make up weird things.
Straight up at my book club, we were talking about it, and because that's a big thing with all my girlfriends too. So I straight up called my husband, and my husband was with all their boyfriends and husbands. I was like, put me on speakerphone. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, I have a question for all the guys. If you had to describe your girlfriend's taste, what would it taste like? And they're like, we're not answering this question. I'm like, yes, you fucking are. Because we're having an argument here because this is dumb. This is dumb. And of course, my husband just is like, I don't want to answer this fucking question. You taste like you.
Here's also the question. How would you taste like you? well, also, how would you describe your own? Like, I just want to be real here. Like, it's not like you've never, ever, ever at least smelt it or been near it.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to see the doctor. Okay. We're just being real here. We're just being real.
No.
And it changes. It changes as you get older.
Yep.
There you go.
There's different things going on, but also, come on. We know what it is at least. Like, come on. Don't be weird.
It's just like it just floors me because of just some of the things they come up with. I'm just like, oh my god, cinnamon and lavender. Who wants cinnamon and lavender together for one? Okay, yeah, that's like a spicy soap. Ew.
Yeah, that could burn.
Like burn. This what?
Well, and these are the things too that give romance a bad name, in my opinion, is when those scenes, you know, you get the stuff about the turgid length or the velvet wrapped steel. And like, I don't mind reading those in old school romance. Like, they makes me chuckle because I know trying to make it, whatever. But when they're written still in books now, I'm like, just call it what it is. Like, don't make up the weird names. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. I'm just like, stick to the C words, okay?
Yeah.
all the C words.
Oh my God. In my most recent weekly wrap up where I talk about the book I DNF'd, I said the C word like 4 times. And I was like, don't watch this with your children.
I say the C word like all the time.
Yep.
I even said it in my First Lady Awards. I named a whole scene that because that was the whole point of the freaking scene. And it won. So
my husband will often say, does that word offend you? And I'm like, no, because I have one. But it just doesn't offend me personally, but whatever.
We were talking about yours. Okay. I was talking about his. I don't always love when it's used for a woman, depending on how it's been being said. Like, I think we can call it the P word or the C word. And for both, I think we can call both parts the P word or the C word. And like, we get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there's also the non-sexual terms. Like, someone was making a video about this. Like, I think there should be a difference of when it's being referenced as a body part and when it's being referenced in sex, but that's just me. That's a personal taste reference. Like, I don't want you to say you're kissing her vagina. Like, I don't want you to say that. You know, or when labia gets thrown in, I'm like, I know you proper terms, but like, it's not spreads her labia lips. Like, I don't want you to call it that. Like, I don't want
anatomy.
Yeah.
These are personal things.
Lips and folds are okay there. Yeah, that's
right. I'm like, we can just call it what it is. But anyway, these are personal preference things. At the end of the day, like, have I read sex scenes that said turgid length and I still liked it? Yes, I have. It worked for the moment. But it's just like of preference if I was going to write it, which I don't want to. But if I was,
I love that scene.
Those things.
Oh no!
Oh Lord.
Love it.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I've seen this meme several times recently, but I've actually never watched Friends.
Because you know what? It always happens when someone picks up your book that they go to the dirty scenes. Or my kids on the dirt. Because that is the truest thing that ever happened. When I was in freaking high school, okay, let me tell this story. This is funny. My math teacher, who by the way was our hottest teacher that we had. Okay, I not in a weird student teacher, but like he was the best looking teacher that our school had. Okay, and he's our math teacher. Okay. And I have a book. It was a Sherilyn Kenyon book that was called Fantasy Lover. And me and my friend actually, like, I had a copy that had the cover ripped off that I got at a garage sale. And so we'd put a fake cover on it just because it needed a cover, not because we were like trying to hide it, but because it needed a cover. So we made one. And like, I'm taking a test and like, or doing my homework and like my book is on my desk and Mr. Mayor, he's walking by and he sees my book and he like picks it up. And I'm literally like, I look at my friend and I was like,
oh no.
And is like flipping through it, and then he like looks down at me without like trying to be judgmental, but like closes and puts it down, just walks on.
Wow.
And I was just like, I mean, I was 17. And I'm just like, oh my God, Mr. Mayor. And like I look over at my best friend, I'm like, but anyway.
My husband has definitely picked up some of my historical romances and like meant to like joke around like, oh, we're gonna find the sex scene in this, but he can't find one because they're not always that hot. They're like always maybe one scene at the end. Like I always tell him like, you can't just judge it by the cover. I mean, sometimes there's spicy scenes in the beginning, but sometimes there's only one and it's at the very end. You just never know, or not even there, or it's closed door. You never know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I was at work listening to a mafia romance and I just got my AirPods and I didn't realize that when you take your AirPod out and the audiobook is on silent, if my phone call came through and I ended the call, the book starts playing I don't know why
Oh.
it starts playing.
Yeah.
But if my earbud had been in, it would have started playing my earbud, but my earbud was out. So literally you hear this deep Russian guy's accent talking about slapping her pussy with a pussy whip. And I'm like, I work at a municipality. I work in a municipality office, and I hightail it over, and it kind of just, of course, you can't find the off button on your fucking phone. You're just like, stop.
Like Butterfingers all of a sudden.
Or smash your phone.
Yeah, apparently the lady didn't hear shit. And if she did, she didn't say anything. But as she's leaving, my coworker looks at me, she's like, Jackie? I'm like, shut the fuck up. You listen to it too.
Yeah.
Shut up. I know the books you listen to because you've recommended some of them to me. So shut up.
We've all had those moments.
Well, yeah.
I never had a teacher, though. I never had a teacher grabbing my books. They just never did.
No, that's a unique experience to Jen. Story time with Jen.
Oh no.
I didn't read any romance, prior to like 35. So like I was well older. So.
I went to a Catholic high school, so our books were monitored.
Oh.
For certain scenes. Doesn't mean stuff didn't get through still, but
yeah. I didn't start reading romance until maybe, I guess, like college, I don't know. I mean, I remember when like Breaking Dawn came out, I was like, oh my God, at like the wedding night scene. Like, like high school.
I read the Thornbirds in 8th grade, and I should have probably learned then that I was really into dark stuff because there's a priest who basically helps raise a young girl that he ends up having an affair with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, looking back on it, I'm like, that probably should, in 8th grade, probably should not have read that book. But I did, and there was some dirty scenes in there, and I was like, like that.
Well,
like I was just like, I was like that girl at the 8th grade. We lost Jen. What happened to her?
It just says she has issues with her internet sometimes. It just says on her box, device is not connected. So I'm assuming she's having issues with her internet. But
did you guys have to watch Romeo and Juliet, the original one in high school?
Yep.
Was it Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah.
And then your English teacher
we had to watch Macbeth.
Yes.
Romeo and Juliet.
We watched Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar, Hamlet, Macbeth, and Taming the Shrew.
Oh, we only did Romeo and Juliet, and every time the English teacher has to put the paper in front of the TV at the one scene that there's in there.
Dead.
It was a file folder over at my school.
Yes, file folder.
File folder, yes.
The 2-second scene that's in there.
Yes. And then I saw Leo and Claire's version, and my head exploded.
That was the first version I ever saw of Romeo and Juliet. That was the first one I ever saw.
That was the first version you ever saw? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course, I had already seen Kevin Kline's Hamlet, which made me fall in love with Kevin Kline.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am in love with this man, and he could be my dad, and I don't care. I loved him.
Yeah.
I still love that man.
I love him.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap up the live show here. Thank you all. Jen's back. But, I'm just about to wrap up the live show. So perfect timing, Jen. But yeah, thank you guys so much.
Oh,
Jackie,
we just
April, and yeah, I'm about to just wrap it up. And thank you all to everybody in the comments who joined us. And
thank you, Rachel, for hosting.
Oh, of course.
Yes, thank you for inviting.
Yeah,
of course. And yeah, like I said, I have the live show with Lisa on Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time. So you don't have to read the book if you don't want to. If you just want to come discuss historical romance with us, that's what we end up doing usually, like halfway through the live show. So,
I do that all the time. I hardly ever read the book.
I mean,
that's
totally fine with me,
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody, I hope everybody has a wonderful night, and see y'all later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.